How is it almost November? It's time to share with you some little acts of decluttering for November. Hello, my name's Rachel. I do videos about decluttering, minimalism and my no spend year, and today I have got a whole month's worth of little acts of decluttering. I'm going to make sure I include all of the dates this time, as I did miss off a date in October. Not intentionally, I didn't cut a day from the calendar, but I forgot to share a day and had to add it in. So I'm just going to check 30 days in November and let's hope I do them all. As you may know, I share little acts of decluttering every day on my social media channels. You can check it out here, and if you want to follow along, go and check out Instagram, Facebook or TikTok, and I share the little acts of decluttering each day. So if you want that daily reminder, that is the way to go. Otherwise, I do actually have a free PDF calendar that you can download from my website, declutteryourlife.co.uk, and the November calendar will be up ready for you to download. You can save it to your device, and then that could be a way of ticking it off, or you can print it off and physically tick. So you decide what way you want to keep track of your little acts of decluttering, but let's talk them through now. So I'll share as much advice and tips around each little area so that you can make the most out of that decluttering session. So the idea is that it makes it small and manageable so that you can keep chipping away at the clutter in a more manageable way. And if you haven't seen already, I have got a book, the Little Acts of Decluttering book by Rachel Noakes, which is me, and it shares the different acts of decluttering for each section. So as you can see, it gives you a little outline of what to do. And then at the end of each section, there is actually a checklist that you can tick off when you have completed it. And that can help you keep track. So this is like the ultimate little guide. And at the front, it gives you lots of tips about how to get motivated, how I got started with decluttering, and different tips and tricks. And also a selection of challenges that you can try. And it also talks you through the basics, like how to sort with 4 different baskets so that you can really make decluttering an easy process and manageable. So that's available as well. I'm just finished with designing a diary. I've made a diary for 2024, which at the moment is published and live on Amazon, but it's saying temporarily out of stock. So what I'll do is I'll make sure the link is there for you, but it will be available because they're looking into it, they're sorting it out. And I have included some of the information from my book. So like the basics and some challenges that you can try. I've included the 30-day minimalism game template, as well as a year overview. And then within each month, I have done a spread like this. And then as you can see, all the little acts of decluttering are fully mapped out for the whole year. You're welcome. So if you're wondering what we're doing for the next year, it's there, it's mapped out. And then after the months, you've got the weekly overview spread. So here's your Monday to Sunday. And then I love a dotted page. So I put dotted pages there on the other side so that you can utilise them how you want. You can put like water tracker templates and stuff like that. Bullet journals are fantastic. I love dotted paper books, so I'm very much into that. So I have kind of shared what works. It means that you can create little tick boxes and tick things off. It means that you can make a little shopping list there if you want to, so that you can take a photo and then take it into the shop. It's just a versatile use of space, which I find really helpful with my bullet journal. I've then included some goal planner pages. Oops, that. There we go. And it includes space for actions and barriers. And there's one goal planner page for each month so that you can really map out a goal for each month. And then at the very end, I've created some declutter checklist pages that are just empty, that are free for you to create your own lists as you want to use it. So it's a really nice hardback. It's 7 inches by 10 inches, so it's a chunky little thing. You see the size of my face. But I just find that's a really nice solid size for the decluttering diary, and it means that you can really use it, especially if it's hardback. You can still write things on the monthly overview. There is space for everything. So I'm just hoping that this now comes available so that you can purchase, because that is the goal, isn't it? Is to share my ideas so that you can really make the most. So if you want a year of decluttering and you want to take your time, really do it a little bit at a time, but at your own pace, then that is the goal for you. That is the best way that you can utilise your year so that everything is covered. I have gone through all categories, I spread them out, I have put them in sensible suggested places depending on what it is. So I've really thought about where I've put them in the time of year, and some things are repeated, like I quite often have a clear the surface or a 5-minute timer or clear the counter on a monthly basis, because they are things that regularly need to be done to kind of keep on top of things, and it just means that you've got that little bit of flexibility to dip into any other area that you kind of want to do. Now that I've spoken for quite a while about what I can offer you, let's go into the little acts of decluttering that you can now do for November. So I'll go through each day and then talk through my suggestions. For the 1st of November, it's jumpers and sweatshirts. This is a good time to reflect on what you think you might use, what suits you, what fits, and what you haven't used in the previous winter, because now's the time to reflect and just make sure that you have got what you need. It can also help you identify any gaps in your wardrobe as well. So for the 2nd of November, have you got any mirrors that you don't need? So for example, any little circular mirrors that you might have in different bathrooms, do you need them all? Have you got a bigger mirror instead? Really think about whether or not you need to keep them. Have you got any mirrors on display that you don't really want to keep anymore? Have you got too many or not the right one? Decide whether or not you really need to keep them. For the 3rd of November, can you go through your cutlery? Do you have too many of one, not enough of the other? Go through it and really get rid of anything that is maybe plastic or old, that is worn or is breaking, and make sure you've got a core collection of cutlery that you are going to use regularly. Remember, you don't need lots, it's just about having the number that you need. For the 4th of November, can you go through pet bedding? Make sure that you give it a clean if it's ones that you're wanting to keep. If you've got too many that aren't really being used, now's a good time to get rid of them. For the 5th of November, can you set a 15-minute timer and declutter an area from your home? And like I said, this could be any area around your home. It could be a busy area that you've been meaning to do for a while. It could be a large area, it could be a small area. Just set a timer and see what you can do in that time. There is no pressure to finish that area. It's just about doing what you can within that time frame. For the 6th of November, have you got any bookmarks that you don't really need? I know I have quite a lot of bookmarks. I know I've got them in my bedside table drawer because that's where I'd need them, but I definitely have more than what I need. So it's definitely worth thinking about which ones you prefer, which ones don't damage your books, which ones you're going to use. Have you got too many that are kind of not being utilised or that are damaged? Go through them and just make sure you have what you really need. For the 7th of November, make sure that you're getting in the habit of doing any 1-minute tasks straight away. So by a 1-minute task, I mean anything like taking the laundry up the stairs, or it could be bringing the laundry basket down to do some washing. If it takes less than a minute, try and do it straight away rather than putting things off for a later date. If you're cooking and you know that you have finished with a pan and that pan needs hand washing and can't go in the dishwasher, it's a less than a minute job. So that is something that you would try and do straight away rather than putting off till later, because all those 1-minute jobs will soon add up to a bigger job and then it becomes a little bit overwhelming and unmanageable. So make sure you're doing those little things on a regular basis so that they don't add up to a big job. For the 8th of November, can you go through your underwear drawer? Be realistic about the ones that you use on a regular basis and which ones you don't like using, and those are the items that you could look at decluttering, and any that are uncomfortable or don't fit or that are damaged, those could be decluttered. For the 9th of November, do you have any postcards from various holidays that you've either collected or that you've been sent from other people? Go through them and decide which ones are sentimental and important to keep for you and which ones that you don't really need. Are they ones that you would like to keep and then put on display? Think about how you're going to display them and where, so that you can actually show them off rather than having them hidden. For the 10th of November, can you find 10 items to declutter from your home? This could be any area that you like. It's just about finding the number. So you could do it as a challenge with family members, see who is the first person to get 10 items and make it a game like that. You decide and then declutter the items you don't need or recycle or sell or donate. For the 11th of November, have a look at your to-do list and see if you can get rid and completely cut off any unnecessary tasks. Try not to bog your to-do list with tasks that don't really need to be written on there. Get rid of them. They are probably ones that you don't really need to do, so actually why are they there in the first place? So only keep important things on your to-do list. For the 12th of November, go through your collection of gloves. See which ones you used last season, if they are damaged or they are worn through. Have you got what fits? And for children particularly, do they still fit? Do you need to purchase any new ones? Because we're about to get into those cold months where you're going to need to use them. So make sure that they are washed and ready to use and dispose of any excess. For the 13th of November, can you make sure that your side tables are clear of clutter? So you may have some side tables in the hallway or in the lounge area. Go through that area and just see if you can reduce the amount of stuff that's being stored on it. It's one of those easy kind of catch-all places where things just appear and they multiply. So get in the habit of clearing it away. For the 14th of November, do you have any TV subscription boxes that you don't really use anymore? For this, I'm meaning like a Now TV box, a Sky box, a Fire Stick. Do you have any of those devices that are not being used because maybe you've cancelled the subscription and you're not really utilising it anymore? These are items that you may be able to sell on or see if you can recycle them. For the 15th of November, can you go through cushions and throws? This is a great way to kind of get yourself ready for winter, get them all ready. Do you use them? Have you got too many? I would say that one throw per person is probably enough. If you have more than that, do you really need to keep them? Keep your favourites and dispose of the rest. These are good items that you could donate to an animal shelter. They're going to use any throws or blankets and things like that. For the 16th of November, do you have any clocks or mantle clocks that you're not really using anymore? Do you have any that don't really suit the style of your living room or your room? See if you can sell these on or donate them. For the 17th of November, can you go through tops and blouses? Go through, have a good sort out, decide what fits, what doesn't, what suits your style, and what doesn't, and see if they're versatile pieces that can mix and match with different outfits, like dressed up, dressed down. Can they go with different selection of different trousers, different skirts, so that you're keeping those items that are really going to get good usage in your wardrobe. For the 18th of November, can you make sure that the dining table is clear of clutter? This is one of those ones that I do often put regularly because it's just always needed. It becomes one of those dumping grounds. I know that I've got a few bits on mine at the minute, and it's because those items have come into your home and they haven't quite found a space yet. They don't have a home to live in. So see if you can clear it, find everything at home and see whether or not there's any items that you don't need to keep anymore. For the 19th of November, do you have any old bank statements that you don't really need to keep? I tend to get a lot of mine now online, so I download a digital copy. So if I need one, I can print it off and send it off for any evidence if I needed it. But generally, I don't need to keep the paper copies. There may be certain bank statements that you might want to keep for particular accounts, but I would just make sure that you have at least one bank statement from your account, from each account, so that you have got a tracker of your account numbers, sort codes, and those kind of information. So you know which accounts you've got and you can keep a track of it. Make sure you take off any confidential information so that it's not just put in the bin. Confidential information needs to be chopped up or shredded. For the 20th of November, do you have any drawer dividers or trays that you've used in drawers that are not being utilised anymore? As you start decluttering your home, you may find that you've got some of these dividers that are not being used, or they are in the way of something else, or you've moved things around. Do you need to keep them? These are good items that you could sell on. For the 21st of November, do you have any trainers that you need to declutter? Any that don't fit anymore or that are really damaged? These are good items to get rid of. Also, do you have too many of the same style? Do you have any duplicates or similar ones? These are items that you could sell or donate. For the 22nd of November, do you have any cardigans that you're not utilising? It can be easy to get a collection of these, but if you're finding that you're not reaching for certain ones, those are good items to donate. For the 23rd of November, do you have any printers or laminators or like Cricut machines that you are not using? These are items that are worth selling on if they are in working condition, so see if you can do that first, otherwise you could donate these to a local business. Think about whether or not they are items that you're really going to utilise over the next year. If you find that you're not going to use them, then these are items to sell or donate. For the 24th of November, can you go through your collection of children's keepsakes? Make sure that you're only keeping the things that are really important. Think about whether or not you have more than one of an item, like artwork. Do you want to keep them all, or do you want to just keep some favourites? So decide how you're going to whittle it down so that you have a really nice memory keepsake box that have just the key important pieces that you want to keep. For the 25th of November, do you have any old or spare TVs that are in rooms that are not being used, or in the garage or in the loft? It's not worth keeping hold of these things. They're so readily available, either new or second hand. So sell these on so that you can get some usage from somebody else using them, and you could always get access to something different if you needed one in the future. For the 26th of November, do you have any cooking utensils that are not being used? So any spatulas or wooden spoons? Do you have too many? Do you use them all? Are they ones that are kind of a bit more gadgety that you don't use, or that are melting because they're not really very heat proof? Decide which are the best ones to keep that you use on a regular basis and get rid of the rest. For the 27th of November, can you go through your collection of sandals? You have now finished the summer months, so this is a good time to reflect on ones that were comfortable and that you wore all the time, and which ones you didn't. Those could be items that you would sell or donate. For the 28th of November, do you have any pet feeders or pet bowls that are not being used because maybe you've bought some new ones? Do you have some old ones that have not quite left the home yet? These can either be recycled or donated or sold, depending on their condition. For the 29th of November, do you have any lamps that aren't being used? Do you have too many? Do you have spare ones that have been stored in the loft or in the garage? Do you need to keep them? Do they fit your style and your home? If not, see if you could sell or donate them. And for the 30th of November, do you have any light shades that are not being used? Do you have spare ones? I don't in a rented accommodation, but I know that I've had them before where I've bought new different coloured ones for a room design, and I've had to keep hold of the other ones in case I move. So do you need to keep them? Think about whether or not they are worth keeping as a spare, or whether or not it's easier to get hold of something if you need it. Think about whether or not they are going to be utilised. So there are 30 little acts of decluttering for November, which should keep you busy. It's definitely going to keep me busy and will help me to declutter. Let me know how you get on in the comments below, and if you've downloaded the calendar spreadsheet. Let me know also if you've bought one of my books or the diary. I'd love to know how you're getting on with it. And I shall be back for more videos soon. Take care. Bye.